Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I'm covering Emily in Paris, Season 1, Episode 6, Ringarde. I hope I'm saying that right. Oh, you guys, such a good episode. I'm thoroughly enjoying the series. I love talking about this stuff. We saw a different side of Emily this time, so I'm excited to talk about it. Let's get into it. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. So we see this beautiful shot of Paris. Again, love the shots, the photography. They did a great job on that. So she wakes up to the sound of a couple. And she has to cover her head because she's just feeling lonely, we'll say. So she starts off not a great way. She meets Mindy for breakfast, and we see a different side of Mindy as well, because Mindy is saying, "Stop this shit now, asshole." And you think she's talking to a boyfriend or something. No, she's talking to her dad. So apparently dad is trying to bribe her to come home. He's sending her pictures of a house and a BMW and trying to get her to come back. But she's explained she can't go back to China. She came to Paris because she was going to business school, but she's since dropped out. But when she was in China, she was on Chinese Pop Star, a singing show. So she shows Emily the video, and it's just interesting to see this side of Mindy. We start to learn about her aspirations to be a singer. And Emily's very supportive and encouraging. But Mindy is saying, "I became a meme." She's mortified she got out of China. Talk more about Mindy in a little bit, but damn, that girl can sing. That song she sings later blew me away. So then we go over the office, and can I just say I love Julian? He told Emily to wear black today, and she's like, "Well, you're not in black." And he's like, "Yes, but I'm fabulous." And they're going to go see this designer, Pierre. I'm not even going to attempt to say his last name, but we'll just call him Pierre. And Sylvie has to be a bitch, has to do this every single time. It's just over the top. And she's telling Emily, "Listen, I need you to try to observe today and admire and disappear." And we all know that's not Emily's thing. So we'll see what happens there. So we're at Pierre's, and oh my goodness, you talk about a fabulous building room, whatever. It's gorgeous. This is where they make I'm not going to say it right, the couture dresses. And, oh, just fabulous. Just beautiful. I love this showroom. Absolutely stunning. So they're there to check things out. They're there to try to win over Pierre. So they're all just blown away by his fashions. He comes out. He's very eccentric. And he kind of has them in a lineup. So he's talking to each one individually. And Sylvie and Julian say the right things. Well, he gets to Emily, and she's not sure what to say. And so he sees this Eiffel Tower charm on her purse, and he's instantly offended. So he walks off in disgust, and Sylvie's in disgust, and Julian's trying to help her understand what she did wrong here, and that he called her a basic bitch, basically, Pierre did. So poor Emily, she's really having a tough time with this one. So we see her later that night. She's in this cafe, and there's a good-looking guy near her. And the theme of this episode, she seems to be very lonely and just wanting the physical closeness. So they strike up a conversation. They're checking out these people in front of them and kind of laughing about them and making a bet on if they're son and mother or if they're a couple. So it's just kind of an excuse for them to kind of talk to each other. So at first we think this guy is like charming and smart. He's a professor. And we think, okay, So they keep talking, and they forget to pay attention to the quote-unquote couple in front of them, and basically this guy's name is Thomas. He admits, listen, I don't care about them. I just want an excuse to talk to you. So what happens? They end up at her house. So things go down. Finally, Emily gets the closeness that she was looking for. Very happy about that. And the next morning she wakes up. He is going through her books and commenting that they're all in French. Of course, she's explaining, well, no, this is a rental place, or corporate housing, so it's not her books. So it's revealed that they got it on 2 times last night, so good for Emily. She's saying goodbye to Thomas. And can I just say, I love this hat. I'm obsessed with it. I tried to research it. It's Burberry, but I could not find... I want this hat. I cannot find where to get it. So if anybody knows, let me know. But, so this is when Camille walks up. She's like, ooh la la, and basically reveals that she and Gabriel could hear Emily and Thomas last night. So there's that. Emily is mortified. Camille's just kind of laughing it off. It's good for Emily. So she gets into the office and we're met with Julian. For it to not seem basic, she tells him about her hookup last night, and he still calls her basic. Well, this is when she realizes, hey, wait a second. Why is Sylvie here? Sylvie told me to come in at 11 today. Well, Sylvie's a bitch. Last week, Emily was told to prepare for this client, but then Sylvie has said, can you please tell her she's not on the account anymore? She's on a luxury brand quarantine. And it just sucks. It's about Pierre. Emily asks, is there a way to see Pierre again and explain what happened? And Sylvie's just a bitch to her. She walks off. She's not acknowledging her. Again, too much with this character. It makes it hard to watch that character. I understand she has to have opposition, but this is a bit much. So poor Emily, she's like, what do I do? She meets up with Mindy for lunch, and I love this park. I love that they go here. I love that they have this spot, and I'm so glad she found Mindy in Paris. So the conversation goes back to Mindy's dream of singing, and Mindy reveals that they're doing an audition at the Crazy Horse, and she says she's not going because she has Chinese pop star PTSD. And Emily kind of convinces her to sing as long as she says, I won't look at you, but oh my gosh, when Mindy starts singing, that is one of my favorite scenes of this episode. It is incredible. She sings La Vie en Rose. Oh my goodness. That is the most beautiful rendition I've heard. It gives me chills. I want to go back and watch it again. She is so talented, and it's shocking, and all these people start to gather and watch her, and it's just incredible to see. It's seriously my favorite part of the episode. And I love learning this about Mindy. Of course, Emily's super excited for her. And like, oh my God, you're so talented. And Mindy just doesn't believe it herself. So that night we see Thomas and Emily, and they're just talking. They're about to go out to dinner and have a date. Well, the writers really like to have Camille run into Emily. So that's what happens. They run into each other. So Camille and Gabriel walk out of the building, and they're like, oh, hey, we're going to dinner. Why don't you come with us? And Thomas is like, yeah, I love tapas, let's go, or Spanish wine, let's go. So they go to this tapas place, and it's awkward. It's really awkward. Emily's trying. Gabriel's not trying. Camille is always pleasant and sweet, and she's trying to make conversation. But Thomas, we're starting to see it. I don't want to reveal it, but oh my gosh. He says, I don't like to talk about wine. It's like talking about the weather. And this sets Gabriel off because he loves wine and he loves to talk about it. So, just not a good impression there. So they go back to Emily's house and things happen there. And again, Gabriel and Camille can hear them and they have very different reactions. Camille is happy for him, Gabriel not so much. So the next morning on the way to work, Emily spots a sign, and it's for Swan Lake, and who's the costumer? Pierre. So she has this idea. She goes to Sylvie with it. Again, Sylvie, too much on this character. She rips up the paper that Emily is giving her about this to let her know Pierre's going to be there. What a bitch. I mean, it's like she's just horrible just to spite herself almost, to mess with the business. But luckily, Emily doesn't give up. She talks to Julian about it, and Julian's like, what are you doing? And she's like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. And so we see her that evening, and I love this dress. I love this outfit on her. I gotta be honest, I hate the hair. What did you guys think? I get that they're going almost for like that Breakfast at Tiffany's look, but I don't love it. I really don't. It kind of came off like a mohawk. Damn, I love this building. This was one of my favorite shots in the episodes as well. So gorgeous. It's just breathtaking. And as soon as 2020 doesn't suck or the quarantine lifts, I want to go to Paris. Look at this. It's gorgeous. So she meets up with Thomas, and I should back up and say when she saw Gabriel in the staircase, he warned her. He said, listen, Thomas is pretentious, and Emily didn't see it. She just assumed that he was being jealous or weird or something. But this is where we see it. When she's trying to talk to Thomas, she asks him, to come with her. He's like, oh, there must be a mistake. We're going to see Swan Lake. That's not right. She's like, why not? And he said, oh, it's too cliche. It's too touristy. And she's like, so what? I have to do some business here, and this is what we have to see. And he's like, oh, we're going to ambush somebody? He's just being a jerk. So this is the new side of Emily we haven't seen yet, and I love it because she won't put up with that crap. So what does she do? She flips him off right in the middle of the opera house. It's just beautiful. So I loved it. I thought it was great. So he's trying to convince her to meet up with him afterwards, and she's like, no, and walks off. Yay, Emily. As she's walking off from Dickhead, she sees Pierre. So she walks into his theater box, his ballet box, whatever. And he's like, do I know you? And she reminds him who she is. And she says, I'm the basic bitch with a bag charm. And she explains very eloquently why she has that bag charm. That she's always been an admirer, but that's all she could afford. So they saved and got this charm. And that he needs people like her. She also references Gossip Girl, which I love. And it turns out he's a big Gossip Girl fan, which is so funny. So he quotes it back to her, and that seems to get his attention. She has to leave without knowing if he is receptive to her and to the company taking on his business. But we'll find out in the next day that it worked. So it's the next day. She's making coffee, and that's when the bitch walks in. And Sylvie asks her, did you go to the ballet last night? And Emily's kind of like, she's scared she's going to be in trouble. She doesn't know what Pierre says. Well, it worked. Talking to him worked, and now he's interested in working with them. And that's great. I mean, Emily's just doing such a fantastic job. She's so quick on her feet. I love this. Sylvie walks off in a huff, and Emily's dancing around because she's so excited that it worked. So good for Emily. Screw you, Sylvie. And that's the end of the episode. You guys, another fantastic episode. I love seeing the different sides of Emily. I love seeing the new side of Mindy. I want to go back and hear that song again. My gosh, it's gorgeous. And I just love this show. It makes me so happy, and I hope it does for you too. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Leave me a comment. I love reading those. Or you can follow me on Twitter @RealRecaps. And I thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.